Hello and welcome to section 3, adding a player character. In this section, first we're going to learn how to add a first person character to the scene. Then we're going to learn how to set up the character. After that, we're going to add a weapon to the player, and then we're going to create some shooting mechanism. In this first video, setting up the player character, we're going to learn how to import the first person character. Then we're going to tweak some settings of that first person character. And after that, we're going to move around the game level. So let's get started. So as you can see here, I'm back inside Unity. Now this is where we left off in the last section. So now in this section, we're going to add the player character. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the editor layout. So I'm going to go here and select the 2x3 layout because that's what we're going to use in this case. Now we can simply select our terrain and double click on it, and as you can see, it will focus on the terrain automatically. And we can zoom in by scrolling our mouse wheel like this. Now, in order to import the first person character, you need to make sure that you have imported the standard assets from the Unity Asset Store. If you have not done it, you can go to Window and then Asset Store. And once it gets loaded, you can simply search here for standard assets. And simply go here, go ahead and import the standard assets. And once you have imported the standard assets, you are ready to go. Now inside the standard assets folder, you will see there's a folder called characters. Go inside the characters folder, and here you will see something called rain, and double click on it. Now go inside that and go to prefabs, and from here, as you can see, here we have FPS controller and rigid body FPS controller. So you can use any one of them. I'm going to use the rigid body FPS controller in this case. So I'm going to simply drag it and drop it in our hierarchy. Here we have our rigid body FPS controller. And as you saw that the camera view or the game view changed immediately because this rigid body FPS controller comes with its own camera. And that's what our game is rendering. So previously this main camera was rendering the scene. But now, this camera, which is attached to our rigid body FPS controller, is actually rendering the scene. So now we don't need the main camera that we had in the scene before. So I can simply go here, select it, and deactivate it from the scene. Now let's go ahead and position it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and select our rigid body FPS controller, change its X position to about 200. Z position to about 200, and then Y position to about 7. Now you need to make the changes according to your own level so that your character is at correct position. So now I can simply go ahead and double click on this rigid body FPS controller. As you can see here, we have our character and we need to drag it up in our scene. So now it is at correct position. Now if you go ahead and click on play, you can see that now we can rotate using our mouse, and we can simply press W, S, A and D keys to go forward, backward, left and right. So simply press W, S, A, D and you can simply move around the scene. And if we press the Shift key and after that we press W, we can go faster, that is we can run. So here I'm walking, I'm pressing the Shift key, and now as you can see, now we are running. So this is how our player character can run. You can press the escape key at any point and then you can see the mouse cursor, and then you can simply click on this play button and just stop the play mode. So now what you can do is you can select the rigid body FPS controller, and from here you can change few settings. The run key is set to left shift button. You can go ahead and change it to any other key that you want. And you can also update the value of this run multiplier variable. So currently it's set to 2. If you make it 3 or 4, then the run speed will be faster. And here are some other settings that you can do. Here we have the lock cursor button, and if you uncheck it, then the cursor will not be gone when you are in the game mode. There are a few other settings here as well, like this smooth time, this Y sensitivity and X sensitivity. You can change these values according to your own wish to make your character according to your own wish. Also, you can change the jump force value to make the character jump lower or higher. So if I go ahead and click on play one more time, I can press the space button, and as you can see, our player jumps in the scene. So you can simply change the value of this jump force and make the character jump higher or lower in the scene.